Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Western show debuts with a Rotten Tomatoes score that puts it almost even with Yellowstone Season 1. Netflix's new Western show's Rotten Tomatoes score has debuted, and the new series has drawn comparisons to Yellowstone. The Taylor Sheridan-created Western series has become a cultural phenomenon over the years. In addition to breaking several viewership records, the flagship is also responsible for launching several spin-off series and popularizing the creator's other TV series, along with revitalizing the Western genre. Despite the series' later success in achieving its critically acclaimed status, the first season of the Paramount series has the lowest rating of 58% critical approval on Rotten Tomatoes, generated from 55 reviews. While critics seem to be warming up to the Western series, with Yellowstone Season 5 ending up with a much higher score than Season 1, the audience reception for Season 1 to 82% was far more positive than in Season 5, which currently has a rotten 39% approval rate. Ransom Canyon centers around the love, loss, and drama of three ranching family dynasties, wrapped up in the fight for land control in Texas Hill Country. Premiering on April 17 and created by Wednesday's April Blair, the contemporary romantic Western drama sees Staten Kirkland, Josh Duhamel, healing from a loss while on a quest for vengeance as he sets his eyes and heart on local dance hall owner, Quinn, Minka Kelly. Ransom Canyon Season 1 debuts with a 55% critical approval on Rotten Tomatoes, generated from 11 reviews. Some praise the series for its stunning backdrop and cast, with several pointing out how predictability serves as a strength for a show that delivers what it's promised. On the other hand, some also find the series bland and unattractive. With more reviews rolling in, the Rotten Tomatoes score will likely fluctuate. From love triangles to mysteries, the 10-episode series has a lot to offer. Screen Rant's review of Ransom Canyon highlights the show's strength for being a well-crafted and addictive offering to fill the void left by Yellowstone's ending. Though it's impossible to compare the two shows directly due to their drastic differences, the review stresses how the new Netflix Western show manages to stand out. Check out an excerpt from the review below. Ransom Canyon is not a prestigious series that aims to comment on social issues. From the reviews, one thing that critics seem to agree on is the series' winning formula of crafting an entertaining story that satisfies the expectations it sets. While some may find the series' usage of tropes unsatisfying, those who are looking for layered romance and company, with classic Western conflicts and mysteries, could very well enjoy what the new Netflix Western series has to offer. In the sprawling cinematic desert where cowboy hats, dusty boots, and moral ambiguity reign, a new Western drama has come galloping onto the scene, Blood and Iron, and it's not just the tumbleweeds that are stirring. With an impressive Rotten Tomatoes score of 82%, this gritty debut is drawing strong comparisons to the iconic first season of Yellowstone, which earned an 83% from critics when it first hit the screen in 2018. Set in the jagged highlands of modern-day New Mexico, Blood and Iron rides in with a confidence that only a well-seasoned outlaw or a showrunner with a vision can carry. The series follows the fractured lives of the Cortez family, a multi-generational ranching dynasty whose deep ties to the land are matched only by the secrets buried beneath it. Think Yellowstone with a southwestern twist and a touch more folklore, and perhaps even more blood. Gritty roots, fresh take where Yellowstone leaned into the grandeur of Montana's mountains and the sprawling reach of the Dutton Empire. Blood and Iron feels rawer, tighter, and more intimate. Creator Daniel Reeves, a relative newcomer with a background in independent film, has crafted something that feels at once familiar and brand new. I wanted to explore the myth of the American West through the eyes of people who never got to write it, he told critics at the show's LA premiere. It's about land, legacy, and what happens when the ghosts of the past won't stay buried. Critics have praised the show's atmospheric cinematography, brooding performances, and deliberate pacing. Veteran actor Hector Elizondo delivers a career-defining turn as Patriarch Mateo Cortez, a once revered rancher whose influence is waning both on his land and in his own family. Alongside him is a breakout performance from rising star Kamala Reyes as Anna Cortez, a fiery Harvard Law graduate who reluctantly returns home after her mother's mysterious death and finds herself unraveling more than she bargained for. High stakes and higher praise. Rotten Tomatoes critics' consensus calls Blood and Iron a smoldering Western noir, where family drama and frontier justice collide under the scorching desert sun. Viewers have drawn comparisons not only to Yellowstone, but also to Justified, Hell or High Water, and even Breaking Bad for its high-stakes storytelling and morally gray protagonists. The tension is just thick enough to slice with a Bowie knife, wrote critic Leela Summers from Screenverse. Reeves has managed to bottle that old-school Western grit while layering it with modern complexity. Every character feels like they're riding the edge of something dangerous. That said, the show isn't without its detractors. A few critics have noted the pacing occasionally drags, especially in the mid-season episodes. Others have pointed out that while the cinematography is lush, the dialogue sometimes leans too heavily on genre cliches. Still, these critiques haven't dulled the excitement. The 82% score on Rotten Tomatoes, alongside an 88% audience rating, suggests that viewers are hooked. A quiet rivalry with Yellowstone. What makes this debut particularly compelling is how close it lands to Yellowstone's own initial reception. Back when the Taylor Sheridan juggernaut launched in 2018, it didn't have the cultural cachet it enjoys now. In fact, Yellowstone grew its legacy over time, slowly roping in fans with each bloody family betrayal, each panoramic horse ride, each ominous glance from Kevin Costner's John Dutton. Now, with Blood and Iron launching at a comparable critical level, fans and industry watchers are already whispering, "Could this be the next great Western drama?" "I think it's got legs," said TV historian and Western genre expert Miles Carmichael. What made Yellowstone a success wasn't just the setting, it was the characters. And Blood and Iron has that in spades. The Cortez family feels lived in, haunted, and dangerous. They're not trying to be the Duttons. They are their own beast. Breaking new ground. In an era when the Western genre is constantly reinventing itself, Blood and Iron feels like a worthy evolution. It acknowledges the tradition of gunfights and dusty roads, but it also probes deeper themes: colonization, inheritance, intergenerational trauma, and the brutal cost of holding on to power. There are no clear heroes here, only people trying to survive in a land that has long forgotten mercy. It also doesn't shy away from its cultural context. Much of the show is bilingual, blending English and Spanish naturally into its script. Local legends and regional history are woven into the plot, from references to the Santa Fe Trail to whispers of buried Spanish gold. There's even a supernatural undercurrent, visions, omens, and desert spirits that add a layer of mystery without veering into full-on fantasy. The production team worked with native consultants to ensure respectful representation of the Pueblo communities near the show's fictional setting of Los Perdidos. One particularly haunting episode, already a fan favorite, features a nighttime standoff at a sacred spring, blurring the line between myth and reality. What's next for Blood and Iron? Following the strong debut, streaming platform High Range Plus has already greenlit a second season. Reeves and his team are staying tight-lipped, but they've promised more danger, more family conflict, and a bigger look at the shadowy forces pulling strings behind the scenes. For fans of Yellowstone hungering for their next slow-burn frontier obsession, Blood and Iron might just be the answer. With its compelling characters, rich visuals, and a Rotten Tomatoes score that practically mirrors the gold standard of modern Western TV, this show isn't just riding the coattails of the genre, It's forging its own trail. As Anna Cortez says in the pilot episode, just before loading her father's old revolver, the land remembers, and it always comes calling. Apparently, so do the critics.